Let's do the blessings before the Torah. Berekuet Adonai Amvarak, Barak Adonai Amavarak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech Haolam Asher Bakar Banu Mikol, Amin Vinatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Blessings before the Torah. Bless Adonai, who is to be blessed. Blessed is Adonai, who is to be blessed forever and ever. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who chose us from all the peoples and gave to us his Torah. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of Torah. Then Moshe spoke to the heads of the tribes of the people of Israel. He said, "Here is what Adonai has ordered. When a man makes a vow to Adonai or formally obligates himself by swearing an oath, he is not to break his word, but is to do everything he said he would do. When a woman makes a vow to Adonai, formally obligating herself while she is a minor living in her father's house, then, if her father has heard what she vowed or obligated herself to do and holds his peace, then all her vows remain binding. Every obligation she has bound herself to will stand. But if on the day her father hears it, he expresses his disapproval, then none of her vows or obligations she has bound herself to will stand, and Adonai will forgive her because her father expressed his disapproval. If, having made vows or rashly committed herself to an obligation, she gets married, and her husband hears but holds his peace with her on the day he learns of it, then her vows and obligations she has bound herself to will stand. But if her husband expresses his disapproval on the day he hears it, he will void the vow which is on her and the obligation to which she has bound herself, and Adonai will forgive her. The vow of a widow, however, or of a divorcee, including everything to which she has obligated herself, will stand against her. If a woman vowed in her husband's house or obligated herself with an oath, and her husband heard it but held his peace with her and did not express disapproval, then all her vows and obligations will stand. But if her husband makes them null and void on the day he hears them, then whatever she said, vows or binding obligation, will not stand. Her husband has voided them, and Adonai will forgive her. Her husband may let every vow and every binding obligation stand, or he may void it. But if her husband entirely holds his peace with her day after day, then he confirms all her vows and obligations. He must let them stand, because he held his peace with her on the day he heard them. If he makes them null and void after he has heard them, then he will bear the consequent guilt. These are the laws which Adonai ordered Moshe between a man and his wife, and between a father and his daughter, if she is a minor living in her father's house. Adonai said to Moshe, "On behalf of the people of Israel, take vengeance on the Midianim. After that you will be gathered to your people." Moshe said to the people, "Equip men from among yourselves for war. They are to go and fight Midian in order to carry out Adonai's vengeance on Midian. You are to send to war 1,000 men from every one of Israel's tribes. So out of the thousands of people in Israel, 1,000 armed men from each tribe, 12,000 altogether were mustered for war. Moshe sent them, 1,000 from each tribe, to the war. He sent them and Pinchas, the son of Eleazar the Kohen, to the war, with the holy utensils and the trumpets for sounding the alarm in his care. They fought against Midian as Adonai had ordered Moshe, and killed every male. They killed the kings of Midian along with the others who were slain, Evi, Rechem, Sur, Hur, and Rivah, the 5 kings of Midian. They also killed Bilam, the son of Bor, with the sword. The people of Israel took captive the women of Midian and their little ones, and they took as booty all their cattle, flocks, and other goods. They set fire to all their cities in the areas where they lived and all their camps. They took all the booty, all the people and animals they had captured, and brought the captives' booty and spoil to Moshe, Eleazar the Cohen, and the community of Israel in the camp on the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho. Moshe, Eleazar the Cohen, and all the community leaders went to meet them outside the camp. But Moshe was angry with the army officers, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, coming in from the battlefield. Moshe asked them, "You let the women live? Why? These are the ones who, because of Bilam's advice, caused the people of Israel to rebel, breaking faith with Adonai in the poor incident, so that the plague broke out among Adonai's community. Now kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has ever slept with a man. But the young girls who have never slept with a man, keep alive for yourselves. Pitch your tents outside the camp for 7 days. Whoever has killed a person or touched the corpse of someone slain, purify yourselves on the 3rd and 7th days, you and your captives. Also purify every garment, whether of skin or goat hair, and everything made of wood." Eleazar the Cohen said to the soldiers who had gone to the front, "This is a regulation from the Torah which Adonai has ordered Moshe. Even though gold, silver, brass, iron, tin, and lead can all withstand fire, so that you are indeed to purify everything made of these materials by having them pass through fire. Nevertheless, they must also be purified with the water for purification. Everything that can't withstand fire, you are to have go through the water. On the 7th day, you are to wash your clothes, and you will be clean. After that, you may enter the camp." Adonai said to Moshe, "Take all the booty, both people and animals, you, Eleazar the Cohen, and the leaders of clans in the community, and divide the booty into 2 parts, half for the experienced soldiers who went out to battle, and half for the rest of the community. From the portion of the soldiers who went out to battle, levy a tax for Adonai consisting of 1/500th of the persons, cattle, donkeys, and sheep. Take it from their half and give it to Eleazar the Cohen as a portion set apart for Adonai. From the half that goes to the people of Israel, you are to take 1/50th of the persons, and of the cattle, donkeys, and sheep, that is, of all the livestock, and give them to the Levim, taking care of the tabernacle of Adonai. Moshe and Eleazar the Cohen did as Adonai had ordered Moshe. The booty, over and above the portion which the soldiers took, came to 675,000 sheep, 72 cattle, 61 donkeys, and 32,000 persons in all, consisting of the women who had never slept with a man. The half, which was the portion of the soldiers who went out to fight, numbered 337,500 sheep, of which Adonai's tribute was 675, 36,000 cattle, of which Adonai's tribute was 72, 30,500 donkeys, of which Adonai's tribute was 61, and 16,000 persons, of whom Adonai's tribute was 32 persons. Moshe gave the tribute set apart for Adonai to Eleazar the Cohen, as Adonai had ordered Moshe. From the half that went to people of Israel, which Moshe separated from that of the men who had gone to fight, now the community's half consisted of 337,500 sheep, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 persons. From the people of Israel's half, Moshe took 1/50th of the persons and animals and gave them to Levim, taking care of the tabernacle of Adonai, as Adonai had ordered Moshe. The officers in charge of the thousands who fought, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, approached Moshe and said to him, "Your servants have counted all the soldiers under one command, and not one of us is missing. We have brought an offering for Adonai, what every man has obtained in the way of gold jewelry, armlets, bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and belts, to make atonement for ourselves before Adonai. Moshe and Eleazar the Kohen accepted their gold, all the jewelry. All the gold in this gift which the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds set apart for Adonai weighed 420 pounds. For the soldiers had taken booty, every man for himself. Moshe and Eleazar the Kohen took the gold from the commanders of thousands and of hundreds and brought it into the tent of meeting as a reminder for the people of Israel before Adonai. The descendants of Reuben and the descendants of Gad had vast quantities of livestock. When they saw that the land of Yazur and the land of Gilead were good for livestock, the descendants of Gad and of Reuben came and spoke to Moshe, Eleazar the Kohen, and the community leaders. They said, Tarot, Divon, Yazur, Nimrah, Eshbon, Elale, Savam, Nevo, and beyond, the country that Adonai conquered before the community of Israel, is livestock country, and your servants have livestock. If you regard us favorably, they went on, let this land be given to your servants as their possession, and don't have us cross the Jordan. Moshe answered the descendants of Gad and of Reuben, are your brothers to go to war while you stay here? Besides, why are you trying to discourage the people of Israel from crossing into the land Adonai gave them? This is what your fathers did when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up to the Eshcol valley and saw the land, they disheartened the people of Israel, so that they wouldn't enter the land Adonai had given them. Adonai's anger blazed upon that day, and he swore, none of the people aged 20 or more who came out of Egypt will see the land I swore to Avram, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, because they haven't followed me unreservedly, except Caleb the son of Yefunah the Kenizi and Yeshua the son of Nun, because they have followed Adonai unreservedly. Thus Adonai's anger blazed against Israel, so that he made them wander here and there in the desert 40 years, until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of Adonai had died out. Now you, another brood of sinners, have arisen in your father's place to increase still more the fierce anger of Adonai toward Israel. For if you turn away from him, he will leave them in the desert again, and thus you will cause the destruction of all these people. But they came up to him and said, here we will build enclosures for our livestock and cities for our little ones. But we ourselves will be armed and ready for action to march at the head of the people of Israel until we have brought them to their place. Our little ones will stay in the fortified cities here because of the people now living in the land. However, we will not return to our own homes until every man in Israel has taken possession of his land for inheritance. We will not have an inheritance with them on the other side of the Jordan, westward, because our inheritance has fallen to us on this side of the Jordan, eastward. Moshe said to them, if you will do this, if you will arm yourselves to go before Adonai to war, and if every one of your soldiers will cross the Jordan before Adonai until he has driven out his enemies ahead of him, and if the land has been conquered before Adonai, and only after that do you return, then you will be clear before Adonai and before Israel, and this land here will be yours to possess before Adonai. But if you will not do this, then you have sinned against Adonai, and you must understand that your sin will find you out. Build cities for your little ones and enclosures for your sheep, then do what you said you would do. The descendants of Gad and the descendants of Reuben said to Moshe, your servants will do as my Lord orders. Our little ones, wives, flocks, and all our livestock will be there in the cities of Gilead. But your servant will cross over, every man armed for war, before Adonai to do battle as my Lord says. So Moshe gave orders concerning them to Eleazar the Kohen, Joshua the son of Nun, and the clan leaders of the tribes of the people of Israel. Moshe said to them, "If the descendants of Gad and of Reuben cross over the Jordan with you, every man armed for battle before Adonai, and if the land is conquered before you, then you are to give them to the land of Gilead as theirs to possess. But if they do not cross with you armed, they are to possess land along with you in Canaan." The descendants of Gad and of Reuben answered, "We will do as Adonai has said to your servants. We will cross over into the land of Canaan, armed before Adonai, and the land we will possess for inheritance will be on this side of the Jordan." So Moshe gave the descendants of Gad and of Reuben, and also to the half-tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sichon, king of the Amoree, and the kingdom of Og, the king of Bashan, the country and its cities within its borders, along with their surrounding towns. The descendants of Gad built Divon, Tarot, Aror, Atroth-Shaphan, Yazer, Yokbeah, Bet Nimrah, and Bet Haran, fortified cities, and also enclosures for sheep. The descendants of Reuben built Eshbon, Elaleh, Kiriathaim, Nevo, Baal, Moon, these names have been changed, and Sivma, they renamed the cities they built. The descendants of Machir, the son of Manasseh, went to Gilead and conquered it, dispossessing the Amoree who were there. Moshe gave Gilead to Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he lived in it. Yair, the son of Manasseh, went and captured its villages and called them Avrot Yair, villages of Yair. Novach went and captured Kanat with its villages and named it Novach after himself. These are the stages in the journey of the people of Israel as they left the land of Egypt, divided into groups under the leadership of Moshe and Aaron. Moshe recorded each of the stages of their journey by order of Adonai. Here are the starting points of each stage. They began their journey from Ramses in the first month. On the 15th day of the first month, the morning after the Pesach, the people of Israel left proudly in view of all the Egyptians. While the Egyptians were burying those among them whom Adonai had killed, all their firstborn, Adonai had also executed judgment on their gods. The people of Israel moved on from Ramses and camped at Sukkot. They moved on from Sukkot and camped at Etam, by the edge of the desert. They moved on from Etam and turned back to Piakirot, in front of Baal Zephon, and camped before Migdol. They moved on from Pinei Akirot, passed through the sea to the desert, continued 3 days' journey into the Etam desert, and camped at Marah. They moved on from Marah and came to Elim. In Elim were 12 springs and 70 palm trees, so they camped there. They moved on from Elim and camped by the Sea of Suf. They moved on from the Sea of Suf and camped in the Sin desert. They moved on from the Sin desert and camped at Dofka. They moved on from Dofka and camped at Alush. They moved on from Alush and camped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. They moved on from Rephidim and camped in the Sinai desert. They moved on from the Sinai desert and camped at Kivrot Atahava. They moved on from Kivrot Atahava and camped in Atzeroth. They moved on from Atzeroth and camped at Ritmah. They moved on from Ritmah and camped at Rimon Peretz. They moved on from Rimon Peretz and camped at Livnah. They moved on from Livnah and camped at Rissah. They moved on from Rissah and camped at Kelah. They moved on from Kelah and camped at Mount Shefer. They moved on from Mount Shefer and camped at Aradah. They moved on from Aradah and camped at Makelot. They moved on from Makelot and camped at Tachat. They moved on from Tachat and camped at Terach. They moved on from Terach and camped at Mitkah. They moved on from Mitkah and camped at Ashmonah. They moved on from Ashmonah and camped at Moserot. They moved on from Moserot and camped at Beni Yaakan. They moved on from Beni Yaakan and camped at Or Agidgad. They moved on from Or Agidgad and camped at Yotvatah. They moved on from Yotvatah and camped at Avronah. They moved on from Avronah and camped at Etzion Gever. They moved on from Etzion Gever and camped in the Zin desert, that is Kadesh. They moved on from Kadesh and camped at Mount Or at the border of the land of Edom. At Adonai's order, Aaron the Kohen went up on Mount Or, and he died there on the first day of the 5th month of the 40th year after the people of Israel had left the land of Egypt. Aaron was 123 years old when he died at Mount Or. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev in the land of Canaan, had heard that the people of Israel were coming. So they moved on from Mount Hor and camped at Zalmonah. They moved on from Zalmonah and camped at Punon. They moved on from Punon and camped at Ovot. They moved on from Ovot and camped at Avraim by the border of Moab. They moved on from Eim and camped at Divon Gad. They moved on from Divon Gad and camped at Almon Divlataim. They moved on from Almon Divlataim and camped in the Avrim range in front of Nevo. They moved on from the Avrim range and camped in the plains of Moab by the Yarden, across from Jericho. Their camp by the Yarden extended from Beit Ayeshimot all the way to Avela Shittim in the plains of Moab. Adonai spoke to Moshe in the plains of Moab by the Yarden, across from Jericho. He said, to tell the people of Israel, when you cross the Yarden into the land of Canaan, you are to expel all the people living in the land from in front of you. Destroy all their stone figures, destroy all their metal statues, and demolish all their high places. Drive out the inhabitants of the land and live in it, for I have given the land to you to possess. You will inherit the land by lot according to your families. You are to give more land to the larger families and less to the smaller ones. Wherever the lot falls to any particular person, that will be his property. You will inherit according to the tribes of your ancestors. But if you don't drive out the inhabitants of the land from in front of you, then those you allow to remain will become like thorns in your eyes and stings in your sides. They will harass you in the land where you are living, and in this event I will do to you what I intended to do to them. Adonai told Moshe to give this order to the people of Israel. When you enter the land of Canaan, it will become your land to pass on as an inheritance. The land of Canaan as defined by these borders. Your southern portion will extend from the Zin desert close to the border of Edom. The eastern terminus of your southern border is at the end of the Dead Sea. From there, your border turns, goes south of the Akrabim ascent, and passes on to Zin. From there, it goes south of Kadesh Barnea, on to Atzar Adar, and on to Atzmon. Then the border turns and goes from Atzmon to the Valley of Egypt and along it to the sea. Your western border will be the Great Sea. Your northern border will be as follows. From the Great Sea, mark a line to Mount Hor, and from Mount Hor, mark a line to the entrance of Amat. The border goes out to Zedad, then the borders goes to Ziphron, and finally to Atzar Inan. This is your northern border. For the eastern border, mark your line from Atzar Inan to Shepham. Then the border goes down from Shepham to Rivlah on the east side of Ain, then down until it hits the slope east of Lake Kinneret. From there it goes down the Yarden River till it flows into the Dead Sea. These will be the borders of your land. Moshe gave this order to the people of Israel. This is the land in which you will receive inheritances by lot, which Adonai is ordered to give to the 9 tribes and the half tribe. The tribe of the descendants of Reuben have already received their land for inheritance, according to their clans, and so have the descendants of Gad and the half-tribe of Manasseh. These 2.5 tribes have received their inheritance on this side of the Jordan, across from Jericho and eastward toward the sunrise. Adonai said to Moshe, "These are the names of the men who will take possession of the land for you: Eleazar the Kohen and Joshua the son of Nun. Also appoint one leader from each tribe to take possession of the land. The names of these men are: from the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh; from the tribe of the descendants of Shimon, Shmuel the son of Ammiud; from the tribe of Benjamin, Elidad the son of Kislon; from the tribe of the descendants of Dan, a leader, Buki the son of Yogli; from the descendants of Yosef; from the tribe of the descendants of Manasseh, a leader, Aniel the son of Ephod; from the tribe of the descendants of Ephraim, a leader, Kemuel the son of Shiftan; from the tribe of the descendants of Zebulun, a leader, Elitzaphan the son of Parnach; from the tribe of the descendants of Issachar, a leader, Paltiel the son of Azan; from the tribe of the descendants of Asher, a leader, Akiud the son of Slomi; from the tribe of the descendants of Naphtali, a leader, Padael the son of Ammiud. These are the ones whom Adonai ordered to divide the inheritance among the people of Israel in the land of Canaan. In the plains of Moab by the Jordan, across from Jericho, Adonai said to Moshe, "Order the people of Israel to give to the Levim cities to live in from the heritage they will possess, and you are also to give the Levim some of the open land surrounding the cities. They are to have the cities to live in, while their open land will be for their livestock, for growing crops, and for all their animals. The open land around the cities you give to the Levim is to commence at a line drawn around the city wall, 1,500 feet outside it, and is to extend outward from there. Measure 3,000 feet outward from the city wall to the east, southwest, and north, with the city in the center. The space between the 1,500-foot line and the 3,000-foot line will be their open land around the cities. The cities you give to the Levim are to be the cities of refuge to which you permit the person who kills someone to flee to, plus an additional 42 cities. Thus you will give the Levim 48 cities with their surrounding open land. As to the cities you will give from those the people of Israel possess. From the many you will take many, and from the few you will take few. Each tribe will contribute from its cities to the Levim in accordance with the size of its inheritance." Adonai said to Moshe, "Tell the people of Israel, when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, you are to designate for yourselves cities that will be cities of refuge to you, to which anyone who kills someone by mistake can flee. These cities are to be a refuge for you from the dead person next of kin, who might otherwise avenge his kinsman death by slaying the killer prior to his standing trial before the community. In regard to the cities you are to give, there are to be 6 cities of refuge for you. You are to give 3 cities east of the Jordan and 3 cities in the land of Canaan. They will be cities of refuge. These 6 cities will serve as refuge for the people of Israel, as well as for the foreigner and resident alien with them, so that anyone who kills someone by mistake may flee there. However, if he hits him with an iron implement and thus causes his death, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. Or if he hits him with a stone in his hand, big enough to kill someone, and he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. Or if he hits him with a wood utensil in his hand capable of killing someone, and he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. The next of kin avenger is to put the murderer to death himself. Upon meeting him, he is to put him to death. Likewise, if he shoots him out of hatred or intentionally throws something at him, causing his death, or out of hostility strikes him with his hand, so that he dies, then the one who struck him must be put to death. He is a murderer. And the next of kin avenger is to put the murderer to death upon meeting him. But suppose he shoves him suddenly but without hostility, or he throws something at him unintentionally, or without seeing him, being his enemy or seeking to harm him, he throws a stone big enough to cause death and the person dies. Then the community is to judge between the one who struck him and the next of kin avenger in accordance with these rules. And the community is to save the killer from the next of kin avenger. The community is to return him to the city of refuge to which he fled, and he is to live there until the Kohen Gadol, who was anointed with the holy oil, dies. But if the killer ever goes beyond the limits of the city of refuge he fled to, and the next of kin avenger finds him outside the limits of his city of refuge, and the avenger kills the killer, he will not be guilty of the man's blood, because he must stay in his city of refuge until the death of the Kohen Gadol. But after the death of the Kohen Gadol, the killer may return to the land he owns. These things shall constitute your standard for judgment through all your generations wherever you live. If anyone kills someone, the murderer is to be put to death upon the testimony of witnesses. But the testimony of only one witness will not suffice to cause a person to be put to death. Also, you are not to accept a ransom in lieu of the life of a murderer condemned to death. Rather, he must be put to death. Likewise, you are not to accept for someone who has fled to his city of refuge a ransom that would allow him to return to his land before the death of the Kohen. In this way, you will not defile the land in which you are living. For blood defiles the land, and in this land no atonement can be made for the blood shed in it, except the blood of him who shed it. No, you are not to defile the land in which you live and in which I live, for I, Adonai, live among the people of Israel. The leaders of the clans of the family of the descendants of Gilad, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the descendants of Yosef, approached and addressed Moshe and the leaders, the heads of the clans of the people of Israel. They said, Adonai ordered my Lord to give by lot the land to be inherited by the people of Israel, and my Lord was ordered by Adonai to give the inheritance of our kinsman Zelophehad to his daughters. But if they get married to anyone belonging to another of the tribes of the people of Israel, then their inheritance will be taken away from the inheritance of our ancestors and be added to the inheritance of the tribe they will then belong to. Thus it will be taken away from the sum total of our inheritance. And when the Yovel of the people of Israel comes, their inheritance will be added to the land possessed by the tribe. They will then belong to and be subtracted from the inheritance belonging to the tribe of our ancestors. Moshe gave this order to the people of Israel. In keeping with the word of Adonai, the tribe of the descendants of Yosef is right in what it says. Here is what Adonai has ordered concerning the daughters of Zelophehad. Let them be married to whomever they think best, but they must marry only into a family from their father's tribe. In this way, no inheritance of the people of Israel will move from tribe to another, for each of the people of Israel is to hold on to the land for inheritance belonging to his father's tribe. Every daughter who possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the people of Israel is to become the wife of someone from the family of her father's tribe, so that every one of the people of Israel will stay in possession of his ancestors' inheritance. Thus no inheritance will move from one tribe to another, for each of the tribes of the people of Israel will hold on to its own inheritance. The daughters of Zelophehad did as Adonai had ordered Moshe. Maklah, Tetzah, Oglah, Milcah, and Noah all got married to sons of their father's brothers. They were married into the families of the descendants of Manasseh, the son of Yosef, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's family. These are the mitzvot and rulings which Adonai gave through Moshe to the people of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Yarden across from Jericho. Blessings after the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu et torato, Torat emet, v'chayai olam nata bitochenu, Barukata Adonai noten ha-Torah. Blessings after the Torah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed are you, Lord, giver of the Torah. Blessings before the Haftorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'devarim aneemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai aboker batorah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Israel amo uninvei haemet va'zedek. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen good prophets and was pleased with their words that were uttered with truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, who chooses the Torah and Moses, God's servant, and Israel, God's people, and the prophets of truth and righteousness. Hear the word of Adonai, house of Yaakov, and all families in the house of Israel. Here is what Adonai says. What did your ancestors find wrong with me, to make them go so far away from me, to make them go after nothings and become themselves nothings? They didn't ask, where is Adonai, who brought us out of the land of Egypt, who led us through the desert, through a land of wastes and ravines, through a land of drought and death dark shadows, through a land where no one travels and where no one ever lived? I brought you into a fertile land to enjoy its fruit and all its good things. But when you entered, you defiled my land and made my heritage loathsome. The Kohanim didn't ask, where is Adonai? Those who deal with the Torah did not know me. The people's shepherds rebelled against me. The prophets prophesied by Baal and went after things of no value. So again I state my case against you, says Adonai, and state it against your grandchildren too. Cross to the coast of Kittim and look. Send to Kedar and observe closely. See if anything like this has happened before. Has a nation ever exchanged its gods, and theirs are not gods at all? Yet my people have exchanged their glory for something without value. Be aghast at this, you heavens, shudder in absolute horror, says Adonai. For my people have committed two evils. They have abandoned me, the fountain of living water, and dug themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Is Israel a slave born into serfdom? If not, why has he become plunder? The young lions are roaring at him. How loudly they are roaring! They desolate his country, demolishing and depopulating his cities. The people of Noph and Nachpanches feed on the crown of your head. Haven't you brought this on yourself by abandoning Adonai your God when he led you along the way? If you go to Egypt, what's in it for you? Drinking water from the Nile. If you go to Ashur, what's in it for you? Drinking water from the Euphrates River. Your own wickedness will correct you. Your own backsliding will convict you. You will know and see how bad and bitter it was to abandon Adonai your God, and how fear of me is not in you, says Adonai Elohim Zavot. For long ago I broke your yoke, when I snapped your chains, you said I won't sin. Yet on every high hill, under every green tree, you sprawled and prostituted yourself. But I planted you as a choice vine, of seed fully tested and true. How did you degenerate into a wild vine for me? Even if you scrub yourself with soda and plenty of soap, the stain of your guilt is still there before me, says Adonai Elohim. How can you say I am not defiled? I have not pursued the Baalim. Look at your conduct in the valley. Understand what you have done. You are a restive young female camel, running here and there, wild, accustomed to the desert, sniffing the wind in her lust. Who can control her when she's in heat?
Males seek her need not weary themselves, for at mating season they will find her. Stop before your shoes wear out and your throat is dry from thirst. But you say, no, it's hopeless. I love these strangers and am going after them. Just as a thief is ashamed when caught, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their leaders, their Kohanim, and their prophets, who say to a log, you are my father, and a stone, you gave us birth. For they have turned their backs to me instead of their faces. But when trouble comes, they will plead, rouse yourself and save us. Where are your gods that you made for yourselves? Let them rouse themselves if they can save you when trouble comes. Judah, you have as many gods as you have cities. Didn't you just now cry to me, my father? You are my friend from my youth.
Blessings after the Haftorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zer kol haolamim zadik, vekol adoret ahel הנאמן, האומר ועושה, עם דבר חיים, שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. נאמן אתה אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך אחור לא ישיב, רחם כי אל מלך נאמן, ורחמם אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן בכל דבריו. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, rock of all eternities, righteous in all generations, the faithful God who says and does, who speaks and fulfills, all of whose words are true. Faithful are you, Lord our God, and faithful are your words. Not one of your words turns back unfulfilled, for you, O God, are a faithful and compassionate King. Blessed are you, Lord, the God who is faithful in all his words.